What's up, guys? Today is the day we build a junkyard motor. We got our $500 500,000 mile 6-liter LS engine. Well, not technically an LS, LQ4 for all those LS guys. We got that right there. I told you all in the last video, we're gonna file the piston rings, we're gonna gap them so that way they're ready for boost. We're gonna Dingleball hone it. And I know I said junkyard build, and some of the guys are like, oh, just throw a turbos on it and you'll be fine. I still can't do that. So I still got new gaskets for it, a new timing chain, a new oil pump, stuff like that, because you'll not know like how mad I will be. Throw all this together and the minute I floor it, oil pump goes off, timing chain snaps, it's leaking oil everywhere. That would suck. So while it's apart, we're just going to do that. We got the Gen 4 rods and pistons right here. Those are going to give us a couple hundred extra horsepower. Richard Holdner on his YouTube channel, it's a real sweet guy. He just basically takes every engine in the world, different applications, different everything for them, and see what works the best. He's had a stock Gen 3 motor go to like 1,300 horsepower, and these Gen 4s like 1,400. That's engine dyno. Different stuff, but we should still be good for over 1,000 horsepower. So we got that we're gonna do today. Then, well, this won't be today, is we gotta rip out every single wire in Klaus. Every single wire, stock wire, everything, and the dash. Because we got a standalone chassis harness coming in, and when that comes in, I will link everything to you and show you guys what it is. So we can get rid of this factory box, the fuse box there, all these wires, everything. That's going to clean it up really nice. We're going to have switch panels. It'll be push to start. There's going to be all kinds of sweet stuff. You can see it's a little wet because I started throwing degreaser in here from when the last engine went go, and yeah, that looks stained. So yeah, he's going to get a respray for sure in this engine bay. Clean out that. We're going to get the HVAC system out of it. Oh, sorry, HVAC. I build houses during the day, but the heating and cooling system through it. But that'll be a video down the road, and we got to rush kind of a little bit because the wife decided February 13th is going to be our gender reveal, and we're going to do burnouts for it, and we're going to do Klaus burnouts. And you know, I still got like, what is this, probably a half a tire on each side. Oh yeah, maybe more than a half. I got a half a red tire and a half a blue tire, depending on what the gender is. I know, you guys don't know. I'll put one of the tires on and we're gonna smoke them. But that's in 3 weeks from now. And you saw all the work we gotta do on Klaus. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of work, but I'm gonna go ahead, stop talking, and we're gonna get to this. Let me turn on this light. Ah, no, it's dead. Cool. Well, pistons actually came out pretty easy. They all look really well, and I'm surprised the crank bearings are awesome. This thing spins so well. There's no play in it. That's perfect. And you can see that the actual crank, there's not really any scoring. Yeah, you can see some lines in it, but you can't feel them. It's just awesome. I am so surprised at how well it is. You come over and look at the pistons and rods, you can see inside the bearings there's not really any hot spots on any of them. There's no chunks missing, there's nothing wrong. So they said this was a 500,000 mile motor, but the older gentleman had it constantly serviced, oil changes nonstop, and took very well care of it. And actually, I believe that now. It's really great. So now I'm going to turn the engine block over, and we're going to get our Dingleball honer, and we're going to make a few passes on that and get some cross hatching in it. Called Logan from Lingenfelter real quick while he was driving. I was like, hey, any tips on a Dingleball hone, anything I should do in the crankshaft. He's like, just clean it really well, wipe it up, you'll be good. So we are going to go do that right now. That was not that hard at all. Basically, the tips I had was put your drill on medium speed if you have a medium speed. Lubricate it with your cylinder walls with some WD-40 or some like 10W30. And I just made 2 passes basically as quick as I can, just down up on each one. And it's some pretty good cross hatching now. I'm actually happy with it. I sent pictures to Logan because he just wanted to see it, but I think that looks pretty good to me. That's really not a horrible process. So we're gonna head and flip this block over. Let's see if I can do this one-handed. Of course not. It's a little heavy. Here, let me set this down. All right, so now what we're going to do is clean all this crank really well and make sure the journals are sprayed out. There's nothing in that. And right here, we got our new rod bearings. So beautiful. We're gonna put those on this. We're gonna lube them up. And we're not gonna do any of that first because we need to gap the piston rings first. Let's do that. I've been gapping some of the rings. I got these 4 pistons done right now. So what I've been doing is taking my little piston ring expander tool, getting them off like that. These are all the same, so it doesn't matter. You can take the top and bottom ones out, just like so. And then what I'm gapping mine to is 30 thousandths on the top ring and 28 thousandths on the bottom ring. That's usually pretty good for boost. It's going to get you some blow by, but that way when the piston gets hot, these don't come together, break, and snap it. So normally what you want to do is set it down in the cylinder wall. So you see like this, you're going to squeeze it, set it down in, and then take another piston and just kind of push it in a little bit. That way it's a little bit in the cylinder and it's nice and flat. And then you take your feeler gauge and you measure what the gap is. So since I've already done that, I kind of got it down to like a little science right now. So what I found out, I'm gonna do the bottom ring first for 28,000 is just 2 spins around it for me, pressing pretty good. 1, 2. So now what I'm going to do this is check it. So put it in here, put the piston in, just give it a little bit, check to make sure it's nice and flush. Then I'll take my feeler gauge and I'll do the 28 thousandths one. And I'll check it. And yep, it's perfect. Just goes in, just grabs, just touches it. So the bottom ring's good. Then for my top ring, I found out 3 spins is what's working. So I go 1, 2, 3. And that's been getting me 30 thousandths. So I'm gonna put it back in here. Push it down. There we go. I get 30 thousandths. And yep, you can hear it like it just touches it, just pulls it. So that means top ring's good. And then when you're all done, you just put them right back on. And so you're gonna end up doing that 16 total times for all 8 cylinders. And I'm not going to show you guys all that because it's kind of boring, just doing the same thing over and over, but that's how you get piston rings. All right guys, I am working on getting all these pistons and rods put into the motor. I'm actually on the last one right now. I just got in a groove. You really didn't need to see me do every single one, but here's how I did them. Then get out the old bearings. You just push them out, both of them. Then I wiped out the grooves. Now, I don't know if all of this is the right way. I built a motor like 15 years ago when I was 15 in my Mitsubishi Eclipse. And so I'm just kind of going off of memory of what I did then, because that motor lasted up and worked well, so I'm just going to do it again. That's all nice and clean. Put your new caps in. You can see they go in these little grooves right here on each of them. And then also do not mix up your caps with your other rods. Like I have mine. You see 1, 2, 3, 4 going down there. So then you take your little piston ring compressor, put that on this bad boy right there. Give it a little tighten. Also, do not forget your lube. Everything is better with lube. Put lube on any part that moves. It's a bearing, anything. Lube, oil, whatever you got. Make sure you lube it. Lube it before you stick it in. That is the golden rule. Now, you'll see each piston has like little dots on them. The dots face forward towards the front of the engine. So we put it down in here nice and neatly. I've been giving it little taps to make sure this is all good. Checking my tightness. Once that's all good, make sure your rod's not going to hit your crank. Then just give it some bumps. Voila. Piston's in the hole. And then I'm just going to line it up with the crankshaft. Boom. I seated all the way. Alrighty. Now that's in there. You get this first piston that you had. Well, this would have been the last one for me. So I take the last cap, put a little bit of lube on it. Match it up with the groove right there. Most new bolts, especially ARP, take a little bit of assembly lube, so I just put a little bit of that on each bolt. Stick them in, because the end of the caps are threaded, so they're not going to fall in. And then start tightening. Now these ARP ones are going to get torqued down to 45 foot-pounds, and I'm not torquing them yet. I'm just getting everything ready right now. Alright guys, almost all the short block is completely put together. All we're waiting on is the Bald Eagle camshaft for Texas Speed. That's shipped, so that should be here soon-ish, I hope. We got the oil pan, all the other parts sitting right there. I'm just waiting to get the heads back, all this stuff. But that's the update for the short block. So short block's just about done and waiting on some heads. So we're moving right along, kind of at a standstill right now. Probably going to get the chassis harness ripped out because we got the new one on the way. But that'll be another video, and we will see you guys next time.